G'day everybody, my name is Lowell and welcome to the channel. Now, we've got a reaction video for us today. Now, I did a couple of videos, some on Canada, some on other videos where, you know, maple syrup was mentioned, and it's like, real maple syrup is very expensive. So we're going to do this one, why A-grade maple syrup is so expensive. So let's jump in and let's see why it's so expensive for.
Inside this century-old tree hides pure grade A maple syrup, made exclusively from this sap with no added sugar. It's the purest form of maple syrup you can get, but it's extremely rare and time-consuming to make. To retrieve this liquid gold, Jeffrey needs to individually tap thousands of trees by hand and extract their sap slowly, drop by drop.
Oh, God.
It could take hours or even days for the sap to reach its final destination. And after that, about 10 hours to get 1 single gallon of syrup.
Oh, my God. Okay, so it's obviously quite labor-intensive to gather. Okay.
Like this one in New York State's Hudson Valley, then sell that gallon for over $200. That's almost 29 times more expensive than popular imitation syrup, which sells for $7. Despite the price, grade A maple syrup is incredibly sought after, so much so that $18 million of it was once stolen in one of the largest heists in Canadian history. But why is grade A maple syrup worth so much? And why is it so expensive?
I don't think I've ever tasted real maple syrup. It's always been maple flavored. I'm pretty sure. I know here in Australia, when you're in the shopping centre, you get them in, and it says real maple syrup from Canada, and it's like a little glass jar, and it's usually about, I don't know, 25 bucks. That's like, I'm not paying 25 bucks, but I guess this is why it's so expensive, because it is obviously labor intensive. So maybe I should try some real maple syrup too.
I love very dark maple syrup. It's got these beautiful notes of like toffee and caramel. It's a little buttery, and it's got that really strong maple flavor, which I really like. I love it obviously on pancakes, on waffles, but it's really great too to slather on some ribs too.
Now you're talking. Ooh wee.
So adding that sweetness, that maple flavor.
The basics of making maple syrup are all the same. You boil sap. But from tree to like jug of syrup, there's a lot of different variables in that process that affect the taste as well.
Jeffrey and his wife, Ashley Ruprecht, have been making syrup for almost a decade. They produce limited batches of syrup that have been tapped, wood-fired, and bottled right here on their 50-plus acre farm in the...
It's kind of almost like making whiskey or something. You know, it comes down to individual trees, how you still it, cook it in this case. Cooking it? Is that the right term? I don't know, but we'll find out.
Hudson Valley. Outside of Vermont, New York has the most tappable maple trees in the US.
Currently, we have around 1,200 trees, so we're not a huge farm. It's still manageable for my husband and I.
Though many may associate it with autumn, maple syrup is actually a product of spring. During the summer months, the maple tree absorbs energy from the sun as well as water and minerals from the soil. Starch is then created and stored in the roots through the winter. In spring, as the snow begins to melt, the starch turns to sugar or sucrose and circulates throughout the tree. And it's the ideal time for Jeffrey to tap.
So, what happens to the tree then if you're taking that sap? Does the tree need that to grow to survive? Are you killing the tree?
Most of the trees are sugar maples. They also pull sap from other types.
Really, sugar maples are the predominant species that are tapped. Just because the sugar content in the sap itself is so high, I would say 25 to 30% red maples we tap, and then the rest are sugar maples.
To be tapped, a maple tree needs to reach at least 40 years old. but they can live for
Oh.
up to 400 years. And if tapped properly, producers like Jeffrey can reuse the same tree for decades.
Okay.
There's no harm to the tree. You want to tap where there's not any like major, like large knots or flaws or anything above. Like
Okay, so it doesn't harm the tree, so that's good to know.
good crowns,
Okay.
good diameter of the tree, healthy tree, no rotten spots and stuff like that. So this is a really good spot. And when tapping, it's super important to go as quick as possible, in and out, make sure like all the wood comes out. And you have a clear tap hole that's nice and round.
Oh, wow, it's already
You're good to go.
running. Damn.
For Jeffrey to collect the sap, a couple of factors need to be just right. The sap is ready when the temperature is above freezing during the day and below freezing at night.
Oh.
Wind can also affect the flow of the sap.
Today is a really good day. We had a nice hard freeze.
The wind. Oh, that's interesting.
Last
Okay.
night, and it's warm today, so that pressure in the tree is really pushing
Okay,
sap out. So it's a
okay.
really, really good day.
Jeffrey drives a spout 1.5 to 2.5 inches deep into a hole 5/16 of an inch wide. He then fits every tree with a tube like this one. In Jeffrey's and Ashley's forest, lines of tubes transport sap to a sugar house for processing. In the US, there are
Wow.
3 grades of maple syrup: substandard, processing grade, and the highest quality, grade A. To be sold as grade A, it needs to contain no more than 68.9% solids, have a consistent colour, and contain no sediment. In comparison, cheap commercial table syrup can contain anything from artificial colourings to harmful chemicals.
Oh.
So table syrup, that is actually not maple syrup. It's usually corn syrup or cane syrup, maybe a little bit of maple flavoring added to it because it's not from a maple tree at all.
For grade
Oh.
A, the time of year also affects the quality of the syrup. The earlier in the season it's harvested, the lighter the syrup.
It's all the same process to produce these colors. It's the sap that changes throughout the season that actually changes the color and the taste of the syrup. Usually we'll start out with a lighter syrup, a golden, an amber, and you usually
Wow, you can really see the difference in the color. Oh.
end on very dark syrup at the end of the season.
Today, Ashley and Jeffrey will likely harvest grade A very dark.
It's the darkest color that we produce as well, which
that's
has
really
the
dark.
strongest maple flavor, and that is really popular for us here.
On the market, these factors are reflected in the price, with Jeffrey and Ashley's premium syrups going for a little over $200 per gallon. Premium
Damn, that's
syrups
expensive.
are so valuable that between 2011 and 2012, 6 million gallons worth over $14 million were stolen from producers in the Canadian province of Quebec, the world's largest supplier of maple syrup. The heist was so large that it affected the global supply. It remains to this day the most valuable heist in Canadian history, known as the Great Maple Syrup Heist.
I mean, what? How are you going to offload that much syrup? Hey, mate, you want to buy some syrup? It's like, okay. I don't know how they thought they were going to get away with that. That's crazy.
In the US, table syrup is still the first choice, with 75% of consumers preferring it over pure maple syrup.
Oh.
But here in the Hudson Valley,
Is that because they're used to the sugar? Like, you know, obviously fake maple syrup being very sweet goes along with the pancakes, whereas real maple syrup is not quite as sweet. I don't know. As I said, I don't think I've ever tried. Obviously, I've been trying whatever crap they give you. I need to try some real maple syrup now.
premium syrup, like Jeffrey and Ashley's, has no equals.
I grew up in the 5th generation restaurateurs in the Hudson Valley. There is more of an increase in the demand for the maple syrup. I find that it's drawing an influx of people and an attention to the Hudson Valley. I think that the
Oh
usage
my
of
God.
both
Is that
the
pancake? Oh, is that, no, that must be French toast, surely.
red maple and the sugar maple trees does have a little bit more of a well-rounded flavor to it. I typically use the dark maple syrup, being kind of a middle of the road. It has an excellent flavor profile that does pair well with sweet dishes, savory dishes. You just simply can't get that same flavor profile or balance from honey or any other type of sweeteners. The maple, almost that oaky type flavor does carry through with it and balances very well. Grade A, I find, it suits very well for multiple applications.
Wow, not much on
Back
that
at the
plate.
farm, Jeffrey and Ashley get ready to begin evaporating and filtering the freshly drawn sap.
Okay, so that's...
To get the sap up the evaporator in the sugar house, it first needs to reach this building, the sap house. With the help of a vacuum, the network of tubes carries it to a giant stainless steel collection tank.
The first point of entry gets pulled into this big bin, and we have pumps going all the way up to our sugar house up there, which pushes sap up into there, and that's where we evaporate.
It's pumped up to the sugar house to a larger holding tank. This is where filtration and evaporation begin. Ashley and Jeffrey's farm runs on a wood evaporator.
We boil as hot as we can get our firebox. We are testing it constantly. You're measuring the bricks of the syrup, which is basically the viscosity of the syrup, making sure it gets to the correct density.
When it's pulled from the tree and before reaching the evaporator, sap contains 98% water and 2% sugar. By the time it evaporates, it should be ready at 33% water and 67% sugar.
Okay.
Precision is key here. Jeffrey needs to make sure the syrup reaches exactly 68.9% density.
We'll just boil away most of the water content from the sap until it reaches the perfect maple syrup consistency. Because once you evaporate too much of the water content out of the sap, it goes from syrup to like a candy to a sugar.
Many farms today, especially larger ones, tend to use oil-powered evaporators. Neither method affects the taste of the syrup, but the wooden evaporator is more labor-intensive, which is another factor that drives up the price.
We do have a lot of storms that come through, so a lot of the trees that do fall, we use the firebox to evaporate.
From sap to finished syrup, Jeffrey and Ashley have to be mindful of the entire process.
Trees can fall on your main line. You can have a pretty catastrophic day if that happens. All of your syrup is just pouring out of your main line. You definitely have to be paying attention unless you have a lot of automated systems going, and even then, sometimes things happen.
But there is one thing that can't be controlled: the weather. Recently, warming temperatures and changes in freeze and thaw cycles have affected maple trees and syrup production and the quality of Ashley and Jeffrey's products.
We've seen a change even in just these few years. Long periods of freezing in the middle of the season are really hard because you could have 2 weeks where it's a really hard freeze and sap is not flowing. And then a few weeks later, it's really warm and the trees just stop producing sap. So the seasons have become shorter, but we're also seeing every year we're tapping a little earlier and seeing sap flows a little earlier too. So the season might be moving a little earlier as well and ending earlier too.
Despite the challenges, maple syrup farms like Ashley and Jeffrey's in New York continue to thrive.
We're a great support system for each other, and it's always nice to walk out your back door and be in your Sugarwoods and business.
Wow, okay. That is the reason why it's obviously so expensive. It is very labor intensive. Even if they had a gas fire, to evaporate it, it's still going to be intensive. You still have to go and tap every single tree and then wait for it to trickle out and everything else. So Interesting there about what you're saying about the weather and the seasons getting, shorter and changing a little bit and everything. I guess that's just experimenting, going out and tapping a tree and see what you get. So, but that was very interesting. Very interesting. As I said, I've never tried it. I definitely want to try it and see how different it is to that maple syrup that we get, on our pancakes and stuff. So I wonder if it's obviously not going to be as sweet because it's not, artificially sweetened and everything else like that. I wonder what the actual real maple flavor is. So, you've had maple flavored candy and everything else. So I wonder what that real flavor is like. I definitely need to try some, just bite the bullet, get some, and then just try it. But that was fascinating. That was very, very fascinating. I couldn't have told you before how they produce maple syrup. Obviously, it comes from a tree. But apart from that, I didn't know. So, just boiling it down, getting away that water, concentrating that sugar in it to bring out those flavors as well too. And the color change between the start of the season to the end of the season, where it's really dark maple, be very interesting to see what the taste is like as well too. Starting with the lighter one and working your way down. Man, it is very, very technical when you delve into it. So that was very interesting. I like that. That is why real maple syrup is expensive. So very interesting. So let me know if you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for joining me today. Make sure you stay safe, and I will definitely see you in the next reaction video. Oh, you're still here? You want more content? Why don't you check out my Patreon down here? You'll get plenty more content and some exclusive videos over there too. If not, why not check out this one over here?